Okay, welcome. It is Wednesday night. It is 9 p.m. here in Atlanta on the East Coast, and I welcome you into Food Addiction Fair and Firm. I am Dr. Connie Stapleton, and I am very glad to be here with you tonight. Hi, Susan Ann. Welcome. Welcome, Kathy. Hi, Carrie. Good. Our friends are joining. We got big, important things to do tonight, because last week we started working on a protection plan. Hi guys, welcome. Glad to see you guys. We are going to work on our protection plan, which we started last week. So I'm going to jump right in as we welcome people. I'm so glad to see people joining. You know, it's been a really great couple of weeks here. I've just really been loving my yoga. I got to tell you, I keep talking about this yoga, which I have yoga hair right now, but it was a really intense class. But I am telling you, I tell you why I love yoga. Because I feel like I'm getting strong, and I feel like every part of my body, physically, emotionally, spiritually, gets a workout. And at the same time, it gets a relaxation. I tell you, this yoga is where it's at. And if you don't think you can do yoga, hi Laura, hi Mary, hi Naomi, hi Kelly, hi Dolly, do some chair yoga. It is free, right? All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in chair yoga. Hi Donna, hi Kelly. And just start doing this stuff, you guys. I promise you, you will love it. Start easy. I actually started working on headstands today. I'm telling you. Hi, Yvonne. And Yvonne is one of the ones who totally turned me on to yoga. So I feel like I'm really getting strong. All right, guys. Welcome, Food Addiction Fair and Firm. I want to talk about something before we jump into working on our protection plan. There is a bariatric surgeon in the community, Duck Vong, and he says many, many wonderful things. So I'm not dissing Duck Vong. I'm going to tell you some good things about Dr. Duck Vong. The first time I met him, he did a podcast with Rieger Cortell called the Weight Loss Surgery Podcast. And if you haven't listened to the Weight Loss Surgery Podcast, I would really encourage you to do so. Rieger's been doing it for a couple of years now. Rieger herself is a nurse practitioner who works with an amazing bariatric program in Oregon. And hi, Tracy and Ann and Kim and Yvonne, everybody. And she started this podcast, Weight Loss Surgery Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, but it's really, really good. Well, the first time I heard of Dr. Duck Vong was on the podcast, and he did a 2-part podcast with Rieger, and it was amazing. I mean, he said some really great things about, dealing with the whole person and dealing with positive body image and all kinds of really great things. But he doesn't believe in food addiction, which is fine. Not everybody does, and I understand that. And so he posted something recently about maybe it's not an addiction. And you know what? Maybe it's not. And so what I suggested to Dr. Vong, and what I suggest to you and to me and to everybody, is that what difference does it make if it fits the criteria of addiction or not? If food is causing problems in your life, if you've got struggles where food is concerned, then it's a problem. Addiction problem, how big a problem is it in your life? Is it interfering with your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your relationship health? How big a problem is it? So what the deal is really is, who cares if you call it an addiction? If it's a problem, it's a problem. So let's deal with the problem, right? So here, I do believe in food addiction, but I don't care if other people do or not. That's not my thing. I'm not out to make anybody believe in it or think I'm right. I am here to help people. You are here to help me. You are here to help one another. So what the heck difference does it make? So onward and forward we go. So whether you have a food addiction or think you have a food addiction or don't think food addiction is real, I don't care. Let's work on preventing you from finding yourself in situations that might be difficult for you. All right, so I blabbed on and on. Hi, everybody. I started right in, right? Jumped right on in. And just a quick hi. Let me know you're alive and well out there. And you can hit that share button because we're jumping right on to part 2 of 4 right now. Last week we did part 1, which was identifying your motive, identifying your meaningful matters. Have you guys been able to do that? Oh, you know what? If you don't have tonight's, there we go. I hope that posted. All right, there is the link to get the worksheet for tonight. So if you don't have the worksheet for tonight, it came in your email. If you're not signed up for the email, you can go to my website, or you can just go to that link right now and download the form. All right, so hopefully you worked on your meaningful matters. You worked on your why for wanting to lose weight. You worked on your reasons, what's meaningful to you about your physical health, what's meaningful to you in terms of losing weight, what matters to you in terms of keeping your weight at a healthy level. Because once you've identified those things, those are your GPS. Those are what guide you. God, you guys, I'm not seeing any of the comments. Is anybody seeing comments? Ugh, and this lipstick. Come on. Ugh. All right. Hi, Susan. Hi, Connie. I am not seeing any comments. It says that there are 31, but I am not seeing them. So I hope you guys are seeing them. And again, please share and invite your friends so that everybody can help develop their plan. So use your smartphones. Now, I just got a new smartphone like yesterday or the day before, and the damn thing is smarter than I am. I cannot figure out how to get my email coming through, but I will figure that out. Okay, so here we go. You've got your meaningful matters. And the reason I held up my smartphone is because I want you to be able to access your meaningful matters. I want you to be able to get to those so when you have a situation that might be difficult for you, you can say, if I eat this, or if I skip my workout, or if I whatever, am I moving closer to or further from where I say I want to be in my weight loss adventure? That was for you, my friend. All right, here we go. Hi, guys who are just joining. Make sure you're sharing this so that other people can participate and work on their protection plan. All right, part 2 of protection plan. Do you have your sheets? I hope you have your sheets. All right, hi, Kelly. Hope you're feeling better, friend. And Maria and Mary and Greg. And all right, here we go. This is called a protection plan, because the goal of this thing is to help protect you from situations that might lead you to emotional eating, or eating when you don't want to, or overeating, or binging, or engaging in something you wish you hadn't later. It's not going to work every time, but you know what? If you go into something armed with a little bit of protection, hi Nadia, hi Brandy, hi Elaine, hi Deborah, and anybody else I missed. So glad that you're joining us. All right, because you don't want to end up beating yourself over the head, right? Because we know the thoughts and the feelings lead to unhealthy behavior, and it's a vicious cycle, and it's ugly. So you've got your meaningful matters. Now, the next part of this is working on identifying your triggers. Now, triggers, of course, which is written on your sheet here, are anything that's likely to create a desire for food that is probably not in your healthy food plan, right? It could be for a craving, a lot of people have, like, if you're angry, you want something sweet. If you're upset, you want something crunchy and salty. A lot of people have emotional foods. Sometimes it's comfort food, sometimes it's crunchy food, sometimes it's angry food. Hi guys, so glad that you're all here. Welcome, welcome. Hit your share button. Let's get everybody a protection plan. All right, if you're just joining us, start at the very beginning later, catch up to where we're at right now. There are a lot of different triggers, all right? And you want to be able to identify those because, right, awareness is the first step of change. So you have to be aware, oh my gosh, this is a trigger. Now you probably can write right off the top of your head several triggers that have led you to emotional eating or binging or, unhealthy eating in the past. And you can probably pair them to a situation, a feeling, a person, a place, a thing, right? Interestingly, in church on Sunday this past week, the guy who was given the talk was saying that, because I always say awareness is the first step of change. And that's just kind of my go-to with the word awareness. He said something like awareness leads to, what was the word he used? Like being uncomfortable, being discontent. I think he said awareness leads to being discontent. And I was like, now that's interesting. And I really had to ponder that for a minute. And what I came to understand and how that makes sense with what we are doing, because awareness can lead to change, but change often comes because we are feeling discontent with something, right? So if we're discontent with our weight, or we're discontent with our relationship, and we develop awarenesses around maybe how we're talking to people, or we develop awarenesses around how much snacking we're doing. Our discontent, when we're aware of something, it's like, that's not how I want to be. We're uncomfortable. We're not comfortable with that. And so it leads to change. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to give you an example, and I don't think my daughter would mind me sharing this. My daughter, Erin, and her husband are doing the 30, what's that, 30 natural 30, whole 30, the whole 30 plan, right? Just to kind of get on a healthy routine, get rid of some of the crap. And she shared with me some awarenesses that she's had around her eating. And one of them was that at her office, like a lot of offices, hi Marta, welcome, Kathy, Agnes, Donna. At her office, there's a candy dish, right? And she said now that she's doing this whole 30, she's become aware that she was grabbing out of that snack dish 3 or 4 times a day. And she really hadn't been aware of that. So increasing your awareness, right? So we have to become aware of our triggers, because our triggers, being aware of them, can clue us in that we need to do something before we follow through with our automatic unhealthy behavior. Hi, Gail and Ariel and Donna. So let's talk about triggers. Lots of different kinds of triggers, and there's probably more than what I'm actually going to share here. But let's start with emotional triggers. So on this sheet, and this one sheet is not going to be enough, so get yourself a notebook or whatever. Remember, the idea is to eventually download these things, this plan, the entire plan, like on your notes section of your phone or somewhere where you have easy access to it, right? So emotional triggers are things that, it's emotional eating, right? Maybe it's a person. Are there people in your life that are emotional triggers for you? And I want you to think about this, hi Kathy, in greater terms than just food, right? I've shared with you guys before that when I was in college, I was in an abusive relationship. And the relationship, like a lot of abusive relationships, progressed. It began as one of those really controlling, I want to know where you are all the time and why didn't you call me, to, increased control. Hi, Sharon. And where he was taking me to work and picking me up from work, and taking me to school and picking me up from work, that kind of control. And eventually there was one incident where it got physical, and that was the end for me. Thank God, right? Gratitude here. I didn't see him for a very, 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 very long time. And one night I was out with some friends. I'm still in college, right? So of course I'm out drinking. And I heard his voice from across this bar. And I literally just started to shake physically. His voice was an emotional trigger. Him as a person was an emotional trigger for me. So there are people who trigger things in you, right? Certain people maybe, it could even be a positive emotional trigger with food. I know someone who her greatest memories are being in the kitchen with her grandmother, because that's where she experienced the most pleasant, relationships. Her grandmother was her person who loved her and was nurturing to her. And being in the kitchen with her grandmother is an emotional trigger, but it's a really positive one for her. But there may be people to whom you connect with food, and so it makes you want to go eat those foods. In which case, even though it may be a positive person that gives you positive feelings, it connects you to food, and then you want to go eat that food. So that's an example of a person who has emotional triggers, right? Or memories. A lot of memories from you may have triggers that are memories associated with a person, or triggers that are memories associated with just like that voice. Any kind of an emotional trigger. And emotional triggers, we're going to find out in just a minute, are also connected in many times and in many ways to biological triggers and environmental triggers. And I want to welcome in the people that have just joined in the last few minutes, and really encourage you to go back to the beginning of this and watch from the beginning, because there's some good information there. And again, I just want to say I can't see the comments for whatever reason tonight. But please, I'm glad that you're commenting. I can see that there are 100 of them, but I'm just not being able to see them, so I can't really comment on them. I can just see who's joining, and I'm very grateful to those of you who are here with us tonight. All right, so emotional triggers. Do those emotional triggers, are there specific ones that automatically lead you to unhealthy foods? So you want to be aware of those. And then here's how you tie in what you know about your emotional triggers to your meaningful matters. So you see a person, or you hear a voice, or you have a flashback, and all of a sudden you're really, experience a lot of emotion and you just want to eat, right? So you're aware that this is a trigger, and then you go to your meaningful matters. So if I give in to the emotions related to this trigger, is it going to move me closer to the healthy body, the healthy physiology that I want to have, or further from? That's how you use these things together as part of your protection plan, okay? So those emotional triggers. Let's talk for a minute about biological triggers. Let's say you're driving down the street, you're going to work, and you see a billboard. And that billboard, like half of them, has a picture of food. And so you decide, okay, I'm going to keep my eyes right in front of me. I'm going to listen to some music. You turn on the radio, and by God, there you're hearing commercials about restaurants, right? So it's everywhere. There are triggers that you're hearing, sensory triggers. That's what biological triggers are, right? Or you drive by a bakery, and my God, the smell of fresh bread, or the smell of donuts, and it's like you're triggered. You have a connection in your mind to this kind of food, and you're salivating, and you want to stop, and you want to get those things. So you're going to be triggered all the time. It's like people say, it is really almost impossible not to be triggered all day long if you have issues with food, because those dang triggers are literally everywhere. Fran, I was just talking about you and you didn't know it. I was talking about your grandma in the kitchen, and how your grandma was your go-to person for love and comfort and warmth. And so she was a trigger for you in a positive way, because you associated love and happiness in those foods. Hope I'm not giving away too much. Jeez. But that's the case for a lot of people. So that's true for a lot of us. All right, so biological triggers. Again, as you become more and more aware that you were just triggered, and you can say, gosh, it was that smell. If I give in to this temptation, or this urge, or this craving, will it move me closer to what I have defined as my meaningful matters, closer to what's most important to me, closer to my reason for, or my reasons is really probably the case, for wanting to keep this weight off, or further from? Now let's talk about environmental triggers. Environmental triggers can come in the form of places. Let's say on holidays you all meet at grandma's house, or you all meet in the house where you were raised, and that's got maybe not good memories for you, or a particular person is going to be in that environment. So not only do you have the environmental trigger, but you've got the emotional trigger that's brought on by that person. You're going to have a ton of biological triggers. There's probably going to be food. There's going to be the sights and sounds and smells of your childhood. That's going to bring up memories. So dang, those triggers might be everywhere and completely overwhelming you. It's so important that we learn to identify our triggers and we're prepared ahead of time for them when we can be. Now, you may be somewhere and all of a sudden somebody brings in a fresh baked loaf of bread and you weren't expecting that. So it's kind of hard to be prepared for that. But the more you have done work on learning to identify these triggers and appropriately using healthy coping skills to not give into those things, then you're going to be using your protection plan. Now, in order to get to the place where this is like second nature, you've got to have it somewhere where it's handy, where you can reach for it, you can look at it and go, oh yeah, this is definitely one of my triggers. Let's talk about some everyday ones, okay? But first, I want to talk about this HALT, these warning signs that are at the bottom of this form. And again, I'm going to post the link to this form just in case you didn't get this form. If you're signed up for the emails, you're getting the forms automatically. But if you didn't, I just posted a link to the form. I'm seeing my comments, but I'm not seeing anybody else's. What the heck? Okay, whatever. Unmanageables. My life is unmanageable. That's one of the steps of 12 steps, right? It's unmanageable. I can't make this thing work, right? Okay, so can't make my phone work either. Technologically challenging. Oh my God, there's my Sharon. Sharon, I just want to send you a big love and hug and kiss. And I'm going to be in Austin. You want to sneak down to Austin the 1st of June? We'll get together and we'll talk. Because I love you, my friend. Love you, love you, love you. And I miss you all the time. Okay. Now that I called Sharon out, I'm just going to tell you about her. She was like one of the very best friends that I had in Texas. And I love this woman. We were friends that instant we met, and we could sit down today and talk for hours, I promise you. One of those kinds of friends. All right, so the warning signs at the bottom of this page, it's called HALT. Now, HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And hungry, angry, lonely, tired are the times and situations and places where we do not want to have to make any difficult decisions, especially where food is related, right? We don't want to put ourselves in situations where we're going to be extra tempted because our resiliency, we're kind of worn down. We're not at our best. Our protection, our armor is a little weak. It's a little cracked, right? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I learned this in AA a long time ago. So this is pretty common. It's like if you're really worn down, you hadn't had much sleep, you haven't been feeling well, you've had too many deadlines, you've just had a lot going on, so you're really hungry, or let's go to tired. You're really tired from all of that, and you're going to you've been invited out to lunch. It might not be the best time for you to go. It might be a good time to use some boundaries. Remember, boundaries are to protect us. We set boundaries for our children because our job is to protect them. Your job is to protect you and your health, right? So if you're worn down and you're tired and you're not feeling like you're in the best mental place to make the healthiest decisions for you, then this might be a good time to say, you know what, guys, I'll join up with you again next week. I brought my lunch. I'm just going to stick to that. You're protecting yourself so that you stay closer to where you say you want to be. Let's use the example that we've all fallen victim to, right? Being hungry and going to the grocery store. Not a good combination. Hi, Kieran and Christy. I'm glad you're joining us. Going to the grocery store hungry, not a good idea for almost anybody, but especially somebody who's working really hard to stay on a healthy food plan. right? Especially if you're somebody who's trying to stay on a healthy food plan and you've had big struggles with food in the past. If you're hungry, for God's sake, don't go to the grocery store. You're going to have a difficult time, even if you're just eating, because the grocery store is just one big trigger. There are emotional, biological, physiological, environmental triggers is a great big trigger. So if you're going in there unarmed, you're in big trouble. So this is where you fork out that $5 or that $10, or I don't know how much it costs, but you say, you use your app and you get your groceries and you have them bring them out to you. Better yet, have them delivered to your house. It's called doing what you got to do, going to any lengths necessary to keep yourself protected, to keep yourself in line with what you have determined are your meaningful matters, right? This is not rocket science. This is effort. This is effort, 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 effort. I made a post the other day when I was at this leadership conference last week. One of the people said that 1 out of 10 people will make the changes necessary to improve their health, even when it's prescribed by a physician. So I'm like, what's the deal with that? And a lot of people talked about how change is hard. Change is hard. Change is absolutely hard. How hard, how badly, how intensely do you desire these changes? You know? So yeah, it's hard. It's always hard. It's probably always going to be hard. So let's just go with, you know what, we know it's hard. Hey, Jennifer, it's hard. So how much effort are you willing to put into this? How much effort are you willing to put into protecting yourself from these triggers that are really everywhere? How much effort are you willing to put into creating this protection plan in writing, not just in thought, but in writing, and then transferring it to your phone? And then, my God, pillowing it up and using the thing, right? How much effort are you willing to put into recognizing if you're too hungry to put yourself in an environment that might be a little bit of a slippery slope for you? Or if you're too angry, stay out of the break room. If you're too lonely, you're really vulnerable, right? If you're lonely, you can't find a way to get companionship or whatever, then food might be how you used to fill that void. Well, protect yourself by not taking yourself to a place where all those food companions might be, right? And if you're too tired, stay away from your trigger foods. So that's part 2. Oh, look at that. I just spit. Talk about human moments. Real people. I'm just spitting all over myself now. Anywho, it's a good day, right? It is a good day. Okay, so if you don't have your protection plan, download it, use it, share it with your friends. I don't care. This is just stuff to give away. This is stuff that is for you, to use, to share. Take it to support groups. Take it to your bariatric centers. Take it to your Weight Watchers meeting, your OA meetings. I don't care. We're just out to help people help themselves. Jerry Maguire. Okay, here's our movie trivia today. I just gave you the answer, right? Help me help you. Jerry Maguire, right? Our movie trivia. All right, guys. I'm actually going to end on time tonight. I don't know what's up with that. All right, so work on developing your plan, but even more importantly, use the plan. There are 2 more sections of this. So you're going to have a couple of weeks to really work on this and develop it, because I'm going to be gone. And next week, you're going to have a fun guest speaker, and probably the week after that too, because sorry, but I got to go to Greece. I just got to go to Greece, and I'm going to go to Greece. And I looked up the time difference because I thought, well, maybe I could do this still from Greece. But at 9 o'clock Eastern time, it's 4 a.m. And as much as I love doing what we do here, I ain't getting up at 4 a.m. I would stay up until 4 a.m. probably, but I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. because that is not my time of day. If it was at 2 a.m., no problem. I would stay up and do that because I'm a late night gal, but I am not an early morning kind of chick. All right, guys. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I appreciate you being here. I am grateful to you and for you. And thank yourselves. Just thank yourselves for being here. And please share this with people. Pass it on. That's our job, right? To help one another. All right. I will see you tomorrow, probably. All right. Take care. Thanks for being here. And it's your health, your responsibility this day and every day. Take care. Make it a good night.